Up next, we're going to take a look at Silence of the Lambs in 4K from Kino Lorber and see what all the fuss is about.
Sounds charming.
Silence of the Lambs in 4K from Kino Lorber has finally been released, and although we've read that there's some color problems in the first 20 minutes or so, wanted to take a look and see what kind of restoration Kino is dealing with. Now we're going to compare this against the Criterion release, not the original Blu-ray release. I've mentioned before that there have been many times when I've seen Criterion Blu-rays up against their 4K counterparts, whether it be via Kino Lorber or some other studio, and I've very rarely seen much of a difference to say that the Criterion was bested. And I guess we'll take a look now and see if that's any different with the Kinos. The first one here will be the face of Clarice Starling, and this is the Criterion Blu-ray. This is a close-up shot of her face and eyeballs, and here's what Kino's got going on. So that's Kino, and I actually think Criterion wins.
I do too. I was about to say it feels like you're doing the opposite.
It's super zoomed in, but the Criterion has noticeable grain, whereas the Kino does not, but that also kind of drives a little bit more of the detail, I think. And also, it's just a slight bit darker, but just a slight.
It's darker.
Just slightly. Okay, here's a pivotal scene where Anthony Hopkins has strung this guy up to the cage of the prison.
Sounds charming.
I love how he had time to do all that.
He did have a lot of time to do some stuff. He made a skin suit. He did a lot of stuff. There's pageantry to everything he does.
Smart guy.
Here's your Kino Lorber. Again, the Kino Lorber makes it darker. And like you said, it almost looks like it should be the reverse. So this is a scene where everyone's judging Clarice for her ability as a police officer and making her feel like she's not worth a damn. And this is them with that look on their face in 4K.
Even if you were somebody who preferred this 4K scan, like you just looked at these two comparison shots and you liked the 4K, you would still have to admit there's like nothing.
No, there's zero difference. Yeah.
Why would you buy this?
If you didn't own anything, I
$20
guess.
to $30 for that small, that minuscule.
And what we talked about too is
which is honestly a little worse.
It is a little bit worse, and the Criterion's got all the features you want. I've seen some good Kino ones, but not when they go up against their Criterion counterpart, you know? Like, I've seen good Kino scans that have blown away previous Blu-ray by far, but...
I bet that hard target's going to look good.
Here's Clarice getting her FBI badge after all the trials and tribulations of the Buffalo Bill killer. And let's see how that FBI badge pops in 4K. Boom. Actually gets darker and dingier. Wow, the color is so dingy here.
And what's funny is the other scene that we were just comparing, I was thinking to myself, well, that's a close-up. There are a lot of close-ups in this movie. There are, but wow, this is, like you said, a scene where she's getting a badge. There's photography going on that's lit well.
Yeah.
Like, why does it look like that?
Finally, here's again the aftermath of Hannibal Lecter escaping and beating this man to death in the Criterion edition. And then there's the 4K, which is doing the exact same thing that the rest of these are doing. Again, it's like losing detail. Look at the handcuffs even. It's like, it just seems like things just get lost in this. It looks like, you know, the fans are a little bit upset about how Kino's handled this release anyway with some of the botched disc and audio problems. Now looking at the release itself, it's kind of like a wonder why anyone would want to get this over their Criterion anyway, unless they were really hoping for that level of an upgrade, which they clearly didn't get. There are already people saying that. And looking at this, it doesn't look like the picture quality is much better than the Criterion to begin with. So
this is a hard pass.
Hard pass. Barnes & Noble sale right now, $19.99. Right now for Silence of the Lambs.